Ah, well, you don't say. You didn't happen to bring in the Mamluks, did you? Well, I guess we'll find out. It's Corbin time. Yep, that's it. That's the intro I'm going with. Good morning, gamers. You know, rise and grind and all that. Have you ever wondered what the hardest achievement in EU4 is? Well, it's not that one, that's for sure, but it's a pretty close contender. The home is where the heart is an achievement where you have to start as Dahomey here, a 3-dev province in Western Africa, and in the span of 56 years you have to make sure that all of this area is owned by a non-Sunni country. So essentially you have until 1500 to conquer all of this. Seems easy enough, right? Now, I've done some fairly interesting runs, but starting in such a weak position and trying to become so powerful in such a short period of time, yeah, there's a good reason why it's called a very hard achievement. Even with the changes made in Origins, it doesn't make it particularly that much easier, although I guess we can get some claims on an entire region. Not permaclaims, but, well, it's something. The first order of business will be to seize a little bit of land from the estates. We'll take primacy of the nobility, supremacy over the kingdom, right of council, and this one's a little bit interesting. Occupying a fort gives you 0.1 years worth of manpower, and it scales based on the forts, but it can only happen once every 5 years. Oh, per fort, okay. And pillaging a capital will also give you a year worth of manpower. Well, it's a short game, and I can't really see this being terrible. Sure, let's give it a shot. I'll also pick up religious state, oversight, as well as the prestige, free enterprise, and instead of the land of commerce, I think it would actually be better to go and sell off a little bit of land this time. Diplo is not quite as important right now. As for the cults, the best one we have is probably land attrition, since we'll be invading so much. We'll just pick whatever rivals possible. Let's take Zazao as an ally, and we'll start fabricating on these two right here. First mission's going to give us a little bit of merc maintenance and yearly army tradition. Now here's the deal. I think I actually am going to go ahead and embrace a singular cult. If there's no stability loss on a monarch death, that means that I can very easily turn my rulers into generals without having to worry about -2 stability. And as it is right now, we'll just take the same thing as before. Now our land attrition is -30%, and I think that's going to be pretty helpful. Let's go and pick up a second ally here. Alright, I spent some time going over the force limit and raising the armies. We're gonna grab a claim on Dagbon and Oyo over here. Fortunately, it looks like Oyo's allies are complete traitors, which is great for me, because this war is going to be an absolute breeze. Against 3k? Yeah, it's gonna be pretty easy. Alright, looks like they went ahead and hired some men. Pretty smart move considering I was not expecting it at all. Well, it does give me a free reason to slap this army. Of course, the war is practically over by this point, so I'm going to decrease maintenance just a little bit, and I'll keep these guys around to do a tiny little bit of looting. And now we have a new heir to the throne, although, man, I really don't like those stats. Well, for now, they're the best we're going to get. So sieging that capital did give some manpower, but it was roughly like 200. And I'm pretty sure Neighbor Raid said it was gonna give a year's worth, so I'm a little bit confused. Ah, no, I get it now. So if I pillaged capital, then I would be getting additional manpower. Okay, well, we're not going to do that. For now, we get to sit back and make sure these cores make it to completion. After all, we're going to have to do a whole lot of stating around here. Speaking of states, we have just enough additional force limit to take on 2 enemies at once. And poor Mali, man. They are just not having a good time. Surprised they actually haven't broken to rebels yet. Treasury's running a little bit dry, so let's turn to the burghers for some loans. Bottoman has finally been sieged down. I think we are actually going to go ahead and pillage them. It's not something I do too often these days, but apparently we should get an extra year of manpower. Well, what do you know? Looks like it's down to a race between my siege over here and some very angry Oyo separatists. It's unclear as of yet who's going to win, but we've had this 42% for like the 6th time in a row, and the Oyo separatists are on 23. Of course, I don't get the fort because that would be too easy. Once again, no fort? Okay, that has to be a joke. And the 8th. And the 9th, given up for 10 times in a row. That is a 0.017% chance, so congratulations, you just witnessed something incredible. You have to be joking. Please. Please just give me the siege. Whew, finally. Ah yes, just what I needed right now. Well, let's take some land back, and we'll go ahead and sell some more titles, and maybe pay off all those loans. We'll rival Nupe, but we're actually going to go ahead and start off by fighting Dagbon. This time I can call in my ally so Benin doesn't scare me so much. Looks like Zizao is doing a fine job over here while we're fighting off Benin. Benin's fort is by far the worst problem out of all of this. I don't make enough manpower, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to hire some mercenaries. Or I could have just gotten Zizao to do this. Right. Well, anyway. Alright, now this is taking like forever. So I think I'm going to go ahead and assault it. Now from Benin, I think it's perfectly reasonable to take this province here. I just don't feel like dealing with this fort ever again. If I fully annex them, then it's not quite worth the aggressive expansion, and we can just come back later. Plus, I can pillage to get a little bit less aggressive expansion, and a humiliate can take us pretty far. Now as for Dagbon, it turns out they're actually at war with Kong and Ouagadougou. Now Kong is also Sunni, and it means that if we want to invade them, we'll also have to attack Songhai. Unless... Now, as our subject, we're actually in a defensive war against these two, and it means I can call in Zizao again, as well as, well, maybe not Yatenga this time. They're pretty likely to take land that I want. I actually didn't expect Songhai to join in this as well. That changes things a little bit. Well, we do outnumber both armies. Let's occupy Kong and we'll just have them white peace out of the war. It's probably best like this. Alright, let's kick him out. Oh, free professionalism. Nice. Anyways, by this point, I'd say we probably do not need this castle. Okay. Well, 5 years of increased mercenary maintenance and cost. I think I will take this because it gives professionalism, and I also don't think we need these mercenaries anymore. Alright, there we go. Now that we're finally at peace, let's go and reduce a little bit of autonomy. Alright, here's the deal. I'm gonna start off by rivaling Kong here, and then we're going to attack Nupe. For now, the other enemies can't actually intervene, and we can also call in Zizao here, who will very graciously help me. Together, we're gonna go and get Katsina out, which is generally pretty simple. All you have to do is defeat their army like we did, and then go and take 2 of their provinces and stand on the capital. I don't care that much about the alliance between these two. All I really need is the war reps and a little bit of money. And there they go. Now, Kanem Bornu will happily leave, and we can take our land. Now, as for the first government reform, of course we're going to take martial society, as it gives us 20% more national manpower. Now, speaking of manpower, we're a little bit low on the stuff here, and we have a lot of rebels that we're probably going to have to fight. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on all of the increased enlistment edicts, and with the 2 events we got for professionalism, we can slacken a little bit. Now, as for the next targets, I was thinking probably going to be Songhai or Kong. I mean, there really are just 2 options. There is Kano, but Kano's allied with a bunch of people. Fortunately, they're also allied with Kong, which means I can attack Kong and then annex them, no problem. I was maybe a little bit overzealous with the peace deal on Kong here, so we are going to have to wait another few years. Of course the rebels have to spawn right after each other. Of course they do. Alright, the truce with Kong is finally up, and we have a ton of admin to spend on coring. Alright, well there goes the army. And there we are. Kong has finally been captured as well, and because I'm out of manpower, I'm gonna go ahead and sell some titles real quick. And once again, I'm going to hire the Free Company. Well, now that we've sieged Kano, we're gonna go ahead and take all their provinces, and we'll do the same to Kong. Now, this next war against Katsina is going to be a little bit different. Keep in mind that we just need all of the provinces to be owned by fetishist nations. Now, that doesn't just mean me, it could mean my allies, for example. Alright, after some intense fighting, I think this is going to be the last battle. As we're sieging down this capital, I also want to draw your attention to this province over here, which we have freshly stated. Seeing as it produces gold, this one province has incredible value. So if we grant it a little bit of development, that should provide us enough money for the rest of this run. Now, with Kanem Bornu sieged, I'm thinking I'm going to take these provinces over here. It's a little bit of aggressive expansion, sure, but the fact that I don't have to deal with that capital anymore is amazing. So we'll come back in like 15 years and we'll finish the job. As for Katsina, I'm going to hand over a little bit to Zizao, but I'll make sure to grab this one province because we're gonna need it for a border with air. Alright, looks like the old king is dead, and the heir to the throne is absolutely garbage. Yeah, let's get rid of that real quick. Now, that means we can go ahead and grab a new general. Oh, okay. You know what? It's pretty respectable. Looks like all of Songhai's friends have abandoned him, which is perfect. On the downside, they are going to take more than one war to annex, but that's okay, because we've got plenty of time. Oh, you have to be kidding. Well, alright then. I should probably also mention that I took Milfor. You could probably tell from the points, but like, just in case you wanted to know why these wars were getting easier. Now, there goes Sagu, nice and easy. Now, Jene wanted nothing to do with Mali as an ally, which is beautiful because that means we can annex them. Anything that happens up here is no longer my problem. In fact, I would be pretty happy if they went ahead and annexed these two provinces. And yoink. Given all of the disasters for Mali, this is actually a mercy for them. Okay, what do we have here? Looks like they took the two provinces I was hoping, and that leaves them open to annexation entirely. Well, I would say, if the AI weren't as stupid as they are. Yep. Thanks, allies, you're really doing me a big favor here. Well, they finally peaced out, and grabbed absolutely nothing, as expected. So, fortunately, we can finish off our war. Not if we, for some reason, want too much money. Apparently that's an issue, but... oh, okay. Cool. Cool, that works. We can also apparently embrace feudalism, which is fantastic. Any opportunity you have to steal an institution rather than spawn it yourself is golden. Now we can pick an age ability, and I don't think we're going to be needing justified wars. At this point, no one really seems determined enough to try and stop me. So instead I'm going to pick up war taxes. Alright, the next war is going to be against Yao because they annexed one dude over here by the name of Wadai. And Wadai is fetishist because the provinces are fetishist, so even though I don't have enough admin to core everything right now, even, that should really be no problem. I've had enough rebels popping up to last a lifetime, but I think we're finally starting to get somewhere towards the end here. Alright, now we can finally get air out. We will, of course, remove their alliances and make sure they can't get them back for the next 10 years. And then when the truce is up, we can come back and full annex them. Speaking of full annexing, let's go ahead and release Wadai, who will be fetishist, and we can give him a bunch of land. Now, some of the mercs are out of manpower, so it's time to freshen them up a little bit. Let's sell off a few titles, and maybe hire the free company. The next target to invade is Kabu. Usually we wouldn't have to because they're fetishists and that's fine, but Jolof has decided that they're going to be Sunni, and that is, of course, punishable by death. Also, the map color is so bright it hurts my eyes, and that's reason enough. You know, this whole run actually hasn't been that bad. I kind of expected it to be a lot harder, I guess. Anyway, if you're this far into the video and you like what you've seen so far, then do consider subscribing, because if you like this video, there's a pretty decent chance you're also going to like my other ones. I'm also looking to reach 40,000 by the end of the summer, so that's around the beginning of September, and if you want to help contribute to that, then that would be greatly appreciated. Alright, now we're gonna hand Bonneman off to my subject, and I'll just take the rest myself. Well, it seems like I should have been paying a little bit more attention since air is now 102% to fully annex, after they went and obliterated one of my allies. It's slightly annoying because that means I'm going to have to fight them, maybe take a province or something, and then come back and fight them again. In the meantime, we also have that truce to be sitting through, so we may as well keep being busy. Sheesh, 7% on that siege, feeling like the AI today. Might go siege some random Siberian provinces later. Okay, this merc stack is completely drained at this point, and the smallest one I can hire is 17 troops. Sheesh. I think I'd rather just use manpower instead. And apparently I can annex Timbuktu. Well, alright, that works for me. And somehow we're a great power. Despite being behind in institutions, we've managed to actually do quite well. In fact, if I weren't behind in the Renaissance, I would be very close to the Mamluks right now. Did I mention yet, by the way, why I tend to give my vassals these forts? Well, it's because even if you have them occupied and you don't technically own them, you're still paying for them. And I would just rather not. So hand them off to a subject and everything's working out fine. Well, not for the subject, but like for you. And then when you're done, you can hand it back over to yourself and there are no problems. Yoink. Alright, the last thing I need is the Yao separatists to get any sort of independence, so I'll send these troops over there to deal with that, but I'm also probably still going to need some mercenaries. And now the smallest number is 21. Yeah. Well, in exchange I'll get rid of these ones, which are fresh out of manpower, and Air has joined a coalition, which is of course adorable. You know, just the thought of them trying to stop me at all is, yeah. Okay. Well, good luck with all of that. I'm sure that's gonna work out just fine. And as I suspected, we are just a few points short from being able to annex Air. Well, that's okay. All I really have to do is take 2 provinces, maybe a third, and then when that truce expires we can take the whole thing. Alright, we've finally taken that fort over there, which I'll just annex real quick. Okay, at last we finally managed to grab Air's capital. Just to check, I still don't think we can. Yeah, nope, still no full annex. Alright, so I'll take these 3 provinces here, 16 war score, which will drop them down to, well, roughly 90, unless they take more war score, which they might. Okay, well, how about we take this as well then? I think I just realized I might be stupid. Well, let's do the thing and then let's explain why I'm stupid. So when I declare on Cannon Bornu here, it calls in Air, of course, and if you take provinces from a non-co-belligerent, it costs twice as much war score, but if I had taken just enough war score from Air that I could still annex them in one war, in half a war even, then I could have declared on Cannon Bornu and annexed the rest of Air. Yeah, well that's a shame. Oh boy. Yeah, you don't say. Yeah. Alright, now we're gonna get Air out of this war as well. There's still only 82% war score, which is great, and this will give us a slightly shorter truce than before. And while we're at it... I just realized that this is actually not land that I require. Interesting. Well, in that case, I would very much like to use my admin for other reasons. We only have 12 years left, which is enough to make me sweat just a little bit. There are 12 provinces left, and normally you just have to deal with Air, but dealing with Morocco and then also having to fight the Mamluks? It's a little bit ridiculous. Ah, well, you don't say. You didn't happen to bring in the Mamluks, did you? Well, I guess we'll find out. Awfully bold of them, I'll have to admit. I guess we'll just have to take the correct steps to greet them. I've had the EU4 war declaration sound my alarm in the morning for quite some time, so I'm not sure if it's made me more desensitized to it, or if I'm at a slightly higher risk of a heart attack. Either way, the war has started, and I think we're going to be fine actually. Morocco and I do have the same military tech. Surprisingly, I know. And as long as I have more men, it really shouldn't be an issue. And funny enough, we also make more money than them, so I don't really know what the whole plan here was. Anyway, skill issue, doesn't matter, we're still gonna win. Now, I'm looking to get this over with as soon as possible, so we're gonna rush the capital, burn it down, and then leave. I don't have a lot of time to spend on playing with them today, so I just need the one province and then we're good to go. Alright, 3 status quos in a row does not give me a lot of confidence in this siege. And you know what? Screw you. I'm taking the gold mine. Okay, please let me pass. Please, 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 please. Okay. Whew. Okay, it's getting really tense here. 35% versus 49. Okay, it's looking pretty bad. Okay. Yep. Yeah, it's expected. Yep. Oh, please. There it is. Okay, now I just need to crush the army and unsiege this one province. Beautifully done, boys. Alright. You know what? That really wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. But still, screw you. I'm taking the gold. Yeah, that's what you get, loser. Alright, the truce with Air is up. Let's get that over with as fast as possible. Alright, this time we are in the clear. We can annex all of Air, and that should be the end of the achievement. And there it is. You know, this was actually a lot more fun than I thought it would be. I thought this would be like as grueling as the True Heir of Timur, but really it wasn't that bad. Of course, if I wanted to, I could go around and just clean up the rest of these tags here. You know, attack Benin and annex Zhao, but seeing as the achievement's already done, I don't really think we have to. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, as that would be a huge boost to the video itself. I would aim for around 3,000 and see where we go from there. Alright, well, I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Corbett signing off, hoping you have a fantastic day, and don't forget that the home is where the homies are. Alright, catch you later. Big thank yous to the patrons this month, especially Ben Greenhagen, Matthew Cohn, Quiet Guy, Torvald, Bouncer Steve, Sean, Robert Kaleno, Chewy Shoot, and The Watcher. Patrons get early access to videos, so if you want early access, all you have to do is sign up for the Patreon, the link is in the description. And if you're looking for more videos to watch, I recommend these ones on screen.